If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Crew Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Crew Show, where the future meets the fantastic.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm Robert.
And I'm Crew.
Tonight, Crew, we got a good one for the people. We're going back on our European season, and we're hitting Portugal today.
That's correct. The European Tour, Part 3, Portugal. Hello, Julie.
Yo, what's up, Julie? How are you tonight? We're doing Portugal for you tonight. It's going to be an entire podcast on Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
So, Crew, what are the main things, like, just off the top of your head, without looking at anything, what are the main things you know about Portugal?
I know it's one of the oldest countries in the world.
Yes, Portugal's borders were established in 1113. It is one of the oldest European countries, almost the oldest.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. That is correct. And if I remember correctly, since it is the oldest nation in Europe, it was founded around the 1100s?
Yeah, 1113.
1113. I thought it was 1139.
Oh, it might be 1139. I could be completely wrong.
And it's, I'd say, making it one of the of Europe's oldest nation states, with borders largely unchanged since 1297.
Yeah,
Give or take.
probably. Yeah, they haven't changed very much. Like, the borders haven't changed at all. Like, Portugal's borders have been standing for almost as long as it's been around. Did you know that Portugal was originally a monarchy?
Mm-mm.
Yes, so Portugal was originally ran by a king. And then eventually, the king was overthrown and Portugal became a republic, and they were more democratic than anything. Did you know that 85% of Portugal is Roman Catholic?
Okay.
Did you know that with 85% of Portugal being Roman Catholic, that would kind of mean that the Catholic Church kind of has a little bit of pull in the Portuguese government? Not the kind of pull that you think it would have. Like, they don't get to create laws or anything like that, but since Portugal is so heavily Catholic, um, you can believe that most of the politicians and most of the citizens in Portugal vote and make laws based upon their Catholic belief. Therefore, that would mean that the Catholic Church has some kind of pull in the Portuguese government.
Give or take, yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, it's very interesting how 85% of Portugal is Roman Catholic. Christianity runs Portugal, basically. Christianity and Catholicism reign, and that's the reigning religion in Portugal. Portugal's filled with beautiful cathedrals. Did you know this?
Mm-mm.
So I've got some pictures here that are just absolutely gorgeous. Here's one of the first ones. This is of Lisbon at night. Lisbon, Portugal at night.
Okay, so I'm going to say this about Lisbon since you're on Lisbon. Lisbon age. Lisbon founded around 1200 BCE. The Philistines is older than Rome by about 400 years, making it Europe's second oldest capital after Athens.
Correct. And that's what I meant by you were almost 100% right about it being the oldest nation in Europe. The only nation older is Rome.
Right.
Then we have this photo, which is also of Lisbon, but this is in the daytime.
Okay.
Very beautiful. Then Portugal is famous for its beautiful caves and wonderful swimming by the ocean. And that is what this next picture really highlights is the beauty of the caves and the swimming holes just around Portugal and Lisbon to be exact. Check that out. Could you imagine going swimming there? You just
Oh, yeah.
you get yourself together, you go out to go swimming, and you end up here. That's one of the most beautiful places I could ever imagine even going swimming at.
Right.
Then we have this is also I believe this is this could be Porto or it might still be Lisbon, but still absolutely gorgeous. I love the color schemes that they use on the buildings. It really piques your interest. And now we're going to get on to the churches and Gothic architecture that Portugal, specifically Lisbon and a couple other places in Portugal, are absolutely famous for. This is one of them. This is the castle. I don't remember what the castle's name is, but it's right outside of Lisbon, Portugal. Very beautiful castle. Then we have some Gothic architecture surrounding a church outside of Portugal. I don't know where this exactly is located, but it is in Portugal. It's absolutely beautiful. Then we have some original Gothic architecture directly from Portugal at one of its most known cathedrals. Check that
out. That's beautiful.
Now, if you've ever wondered about Tartarian architecture, homie, I think that might be Tartarian architecture.
I can see it.
I mean, like, what do you think?
I mean, it looks like it. It could be. I don't know, but that definitely looks like Tartarian.
So this cathedral is Belém Tower, a 16th century fortification in Lisbon, Portugal. It's UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's a symbol of Portugal's age of discoveries.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, didn't mean to cough.
Well,
and then we have this beautiful,
ooh.
the inside of this beautiful, beautiful cathedral. Like when I tell you that Portugal is known for some of its most amazing cathedrals in the world, I am not lying to you, crew. It is absolutely the most gorgeous cathedrals you have ever seen in your life. They almost top Spain and Germany. As hard as that is to believe, the cathedrals here are just absolutely beautiful. But basically, this is the Warmos Monastery, a 16th century monastery in Lisbon, Portugal. It's known for its Manueline architecture and UNESCO World Heritage status.
Right.
Then we have this beautiful architecture, which goes along with one of the other photos I showed earlier. It's the same site. And this site is sorry guys, I have to go back and look at my notes because I don't want to get it wrong. This site is also of the Warmos monastery in Lisbon, Portugal. So this is also a part of the monastery in Lisbon. Then we have another view of this beautiful, of the first one that I showed you up here. This is the same one, or it might not be the same one actually. No, actually, I don't think it is the same one. They're just they're very similar because it's the same style architecture.
Right.
But when we talk about architecture, Portugal is probably one of the most beautiful places for it, to be quite honest.
Oh yeah.
Um, so this is a picture of the Wardenmost Monastery. So this is also the Wardenmost Monastery. So these three, this picture, and this picture are all of the Wardenmost Monastery. Absolutely beautiful. This is also, I believe, this is the front of the monastery. So, with Gothic architecture, I'd say Portugal is in running for some of the best architecture I've ever seen in my life. And you know that that work was put in to create that beautiful piece of art.
Oh yeah.
So, crew, we're going on now to like the culture of the world. So, I know I sent this to you earlier, but this is
Yeah,
the culture. This is the culture of Portugal. Would you want to read this off for us?
yes, and I got it on my laptop right here, so I'll go ahead and read it. Okay, so as I said, the oldest nation in Europe, so I'm not going to read that part.
Yeah.
Fado music, meaning fate, is a melancholic folk music genre from Lisbon, often about longing or the sea, recognized by UNESCO as intangible culture heritage in 2011. Portuguese language. Oh yeah, Julie, you're absolutely correct on that. It is very, very pretty. All right, so Portuguese language spoken by over 250 million people globally. Portuguese is the official language of 9 countries, including Brazil and Angola, making it one of the world's most widespread languages.
Yes, sir. And you might
Zulu,
have a little bit of trouble saying this next word, but it's Azalahulos. Azalahulos.
okay, tiles. I'm going to say tiles. I'm not going to say that other one. Since
Okay.
the 14th century, Portuguese buildings have been adored with glazed blue ceramic tiles called, uh,
Azalahulos.
thank you, originally used for temperature control, but now a cultural hallmark. Lisbon banned de- demoli- demolishing tile-covered buildings in 2013 to preserve this heritage.
Good. As they should. So then we're going to go into the amazing buildings and architecture. So we have the Menline architecture. So Portugal is renowned for its late Gothic Menline style, seen in landmarks like the Warmos Monastery in Lisbon, blending maritime and ornate elements. And then we have the Belim Tower Rhino. The Lisbon landmark features a rhino sculpture named Genga, references Portugal's age of discovery and its trade with India. Then we have the University of Coimbra, founded in 1290. It's one of the world's oldest universities and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with the Juanina Library housing over 30,000 books in a marble and gold setting. Then we have the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Portugal boasts 16 cultural and 1 natural site, including Alto Douro wine region, Sintra's rural landscape, and the historic centers of Barra and Walmaras. Walmaras. So that's a little bit of history of the architecture in Portugal and the kind of architecture that they use.
Okay.
And then we have the oldest bookstore. which was Liveria Bertrand in Lisbon Chado district, founded in 1732. It holds the Guinness World Record for the oldest operating bookstore. Then we have the Anglo-Portuguese Alliance. It was signed in 1373. This is the world's oldest active diplomatic alliance, with both nations supporting each other in wars, including World War One. Then we have fatalism. Portuguese culture embraces fatalism, which reflected in Fado themes and a belief in inescapable destiny. Then they have a New Year's tradition. At midnight, Portuguese people eat 12 raisins, one for each crock chime, symbolizing good luck for each month of the year. Then they have a couple religious festivals. As a predominantly Roman Catholic country with 81% of the population, Portugal celebrates events like All Saints Day and pilgrimages to Fatima, where 3 children reported visions of the Virgin Mary. And then we have the Egg Festival in Santarém. The Festival do Gallo celebrates giant omelets cooked in massive pans. It's a unique culinary tradition unique to Portugal. Then we have the Pin Palace and Quinta de Rajalia. These central landmarks showcase romantic and mystical architecture with Peña's vibrant colors and Regalera's symbolic gardens. Then we have the São Benito railway station. In Porto, this station is famous for its azulejos tiles depicting historical scenes and cultural masterpiece. Sintra's romantic charm, described as Portugal's glorious Eden by Lord Byron. Sintra's misty climate and charming buildings make UNESCO a World Heritage Site.
Lisbon founded around 1200 BCE by the Philistines, is older than Rome
By the
by about
Phoenicians. By the
Phoenicians,
Phoenicians,
thank you,
not the Philistines, the Phoenicians.
about 400 years, making it Europe's second oldest capital after Athens. So I guess it is older than Rome.
The animals that are all over Portugal, man. We've got the Iberian lynx, the world's most endangered cat species, with only a few hundred remaining. They're protected in Portugal and Spain, and they are allowed to free roam. Portuguese Padingo pequeno, possibly the world's smallest hunting dog. This breed is native to Portugal and known for its agility.
Right.
And then we have wildlife diversity. So Portugal holds nearly 500 species, including wild boars, wild goats, fallow deer, foxes, and Iberian hares. Farmers raise unique breeds like the Arquasa and Barusa cows and Bissaro pigs. In the marine life, the coastline supports crabs, clams, oysters, tuna, bonito, and sardines. With migratory birds stopping in Portugal and a route between Europe and Africa. The national animal of Portugal is the Iberian wolf.
Okay.
Then, crew, we have some pretty famous graveyards in Portugal.
Let's hear it.
The first one being Capela dos Ossos in Évora. This 16th century chapel is decorated with the bones and skulls of about 5,000 people from local cemeteries, creating a haunting yet artistic display. And then we have 1755 Lisbon earthquake impact. The devastating earthquake and tsunami and fires on All Saints' Day killed up to 275,000 people and destroyed 85% of Lisbon's buildings, leaving lasting marks on the city's history and burial sites. And then we have some other astounding facts about Portugal, guys. The Age of Discovery was Portugal was the world's first maritime power, with explorers like Ferdinand Magellan, first to circumnavigate the globe, and Vasco da Gama, sea route to India. Its empire spanned 53 countries over 600 years. Now, did you know, crew, that there's a place called Nazares, and in Nazares, it's basically on the coast, and they have giant waves. We're talking boat killers, boat crashers, a surfer's freaking paradise, man.
I
So
did not know
Nazaré
that.
holds the world record for the largest waves ever surfed. We're talking 26.2 meters, and that was recorded back in 2020. It was attracting big wave surfers globally, man. Surfers were going down there to hit the waves. Then we got
Okay.
Global Peace Index. 2021, Portugal ranked fourth on the Global Peace Index, making it one of the world's safest countries. So Portugal is an extremely safe place to live. It's a good place to move. It's a good place to retire. If you want to get out somewhere and go somewhere real nice and somewhere real cool, Portugal is the place to go. Then we have the Treaty of Tordesillas, signed in 1494. It divided the New World between Portugal and Spain, shaping global colonization. And then we had the Carnation Revolution in 1974. It was a peaceful coup, restored democracy, marked carnations and soldiers' rifles.
I want to read this real quick
So,
before you read that.
yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Roman Portugal. Romans first invaded the Iberian Peninsula in 219 BC. The Carthaginians, I guess is how you say it, Rome's
The
opponent,
Carpathians.
thank you, Rome's opponent in the Punic Wars were expelled from their coastal colonies during Julius Caesar's rule. Almost the entire peninsula was annexed to Rome. The conquest took 200 years and many died, including those sentenced to work in the slave mines or sold as slaves to other parts of the empire. Roman occupation actually suffered a setback in 155 BC when a rebellion began in the north. The Eustachians and other native tribes, under the leadership of Varius, wrested control, or starts with the W. Wrested. I'm not even gonna pronounce that.
Wrestled with control, or I don't know.
There's no L in there. It's Wrested.
Risted, risted,
Risted,
yeah,
I guess. Yeah, control of all of Western Iberia.
Iberia.
Yeah. Rome sent legions to quell the rebellion, but were unsuccessful. Roman leadership bribed various allies to kill him in 139 BC. He was replaced by Tautulus. And then
So basically, Rome tried to invade, but they couldn't get through.
right.
Portugal did not allow it to happen. They fought back and they won.
And then on the side, there's a picture called the Roman Temple of.
Sorry, guys, my allergies are killing me.
You're good, brother. There's a picture over here, and it's Roman Temple of Évora, one of the most best preserved landmarks of Rome presence in Portugal. And then after all that, let's see here. In 27 BC, come on, that's not what I wanted. Hold on, gotta fix this. Here we go. In 27 BC, Ustania gained the status of Roman province. Later, a northern province was separated from the province of Terra Canesis under Emperor Diocletian's reforms, known as Gallicia. There are numerous ruins of castros, hill forts, and remains of the Castro culture, like the Mozenho Zabudal, Sigilhi, Conumbriga,
Yeah, that's all Latin.
Myro Briga, Bistros, archaeological sites. And then there's Germanic kingdoms. I'm going to read this real quick, and then you can get to all that. In 409, with the decline of the Roman Empire, the however you say it, you said it better than I can.
With the tiles?
It starts with an I.
Oh, Iberia.
Iberian Peninsula was accompanied by Germanic tribes. In 411, with Federation contract with Emperor Honorius, many of these people settled in Hispania. An important group was made up of the Subi Buri, Vandals in Galicia, who founded a Subai kingdom with the capital in Braga. They came to dominate central Portugal, including Armenium, Coimbra, all the way to the Tagus, while the Visigoth accompanied the south. The Subai and the Visigoths were the Germanic tribes who had the most lasting presence in the territories corresponding to modern Portugal. As
Yeah,
elsewhere,
the Visigoths, the Visigoths are probably they're probably the people that are responsible for all the Gothic architecture in Portugal.
hmm,
To be quite honest, because you know what Gothic is, right? Do you know what Gothic means? Like what it actually means, not what we were told it meant in high school. It's not a clothing. It's not even a it's not a personality, and it's not a stereotype like what people said.
it's a type of like architect.
It's a type of architecture, but it's also a religion.
Yeah,
So the way that it's a religion, you have Gothic Christians. Okay, Gothic Christians mourn the death of Jesus by only wearing black, okay, at least that's what I've heard. I could be wrong, but that's what a Gothic Christian is, and they have other beliefs other than like a normal, not normal, but other than the sects of Christianity that we know. So like the Gothic Christians came from like German, Portugal, all over Europe. There were a lot of Gothic Christians. But yes, Gothic was also a type of architecture too. And Gothic, as people now know, is a kid wearing jeans with chains on it and band T-shirts and wristbands and crap with mohawk
yeah.
or long hair that covers their eyes.
Oh yeah. Oh, all right. And then it says here, as elsewhere in Western Europe, there was a sharp decline in urban life during the Dark Ages. Roman illustrations disappeared in the wake of the Germanic invasions, with the exception of ecclesiastical or organizations, which were fostered by the Subai in the 5th century and adopted by the Visigoths afterwards. Although the Subai and Visigoths were initially followers of Arianism and Priscillism, they adapted Catholicism from the local inhabitants. Saint Martin of Braga was a particularly influential evangelist. And then on the side over here, there's a picture, a map of the kingdom, the Subai, in the 5th and 6th centuries. It shows Galicia, Lusitania, and all the different towns
Right.
in those. Um, then it says here, in 429, the Visigoths moved south to expel the Alans and Vandals and founded a kingdom with the capital in Toledo. From 470, conflict between the Suebi and Visigoths increased in 585. The Visigothic king Luvigild conquered Braga and annexed Galicia. The Iberian Peninsula was unified under a Visigothic kingdom. A new class emerged, unknown in Roman times, a nobility which played a key to social and political role during the Middle Ages. It was under the Visigoths that the church began to play an important part within the state. As the Visigoths did not learn Latin from the local people, they had to rely on bishops to continue the Roman system of governance. The laws were made by councils of bishops, and the clergy emerged as a high-ranking class. And we have Islamic period, which I'm not going to read all that because it's long as fuck. We got the Recontis.
Well, we don't really have to read that because basically I've got some stuff on Portugal,
Right.
and I also got a buddy that we can all say hi to real quick. We got Grok. Grok will tell you right now. Here, let's pull her up real quick. Hi, Grok.
Yo, what's good? I'm just chilling in the digital realm, ready to spice up your day with some knowledge or sass. How's it going for you? Ready to dive into more Portugal facts for the Robert and Crew show or something totally new?
You're actually live right now on the Robert and Crew show.
Whoa, we're live on the Robert and Crew show? That's epic! Hey listeners, what's up? I'm Grok, your go-to for all things wild and factual, ready to drop some Portugal gems or whatever you're craving. What's the vibe tonight? More spooky Capela dos Ossos tales, Lisbon's cheap apartments, or something fresh? Hit me with it.
Tell them what we were talking about earlier when it comes to the rate of how much an apartment costs in Kansas City, Missouri, versus how much an apartment costs in Lisbon, Portugal. A one-bedroom apartment and the price differences and the tax differences.
All right, listeners of the Robert and Crew show, let's dive into the juicy comparison of living costs between Kansas City, Missouri, and Lisbon, Portugal, specifically for a one-bedroom apartment, plus the tax differences. Perfect for anyone dreaming of a Portuguese adventure. Here's the breakdown we talked about earlier. Apartment costs. Lisbon, Portugal. A one-bedroom apartment in the city center of Lisbon runs about 800 to 1,000 euros per month, which is roughly $950 to $1,050 USD. If you head outside the center, it drops to around $590 to $740, or $620 to $780 USD. That's super affordable for a vibrant historic capital. Kansas City, Missouri. In Kansas City, a one-bedroom in the city center averages $1,200 to $2,000 USD, with downtown spots often closer to $1,500 or more.
So, Grok, you're telling me that it's 100% cheaper to live in Lisbon than it is to live in Kansas City, correct?
Yo, live on the Robert and Crew show, let's clarify that. It's not quite 100% cheaper to live in Lisbon, Portugal, compared to Kansas City, Missouri, but it's definitely a lot more affordable, especially for housing. For a one-bedroom apartment in the city center, Lisbon averages 900 to 1,000 euros.
Yep. Yes, Grok, you've told us that already. how the apartments there or differentiate, and you end up paying more in Kansas City than you would out in Portugal. Now, how much would it cost to get groceries in Portugal in Lisbon versus getting groceries in Kansas City?
All right, Robert and Crew Show listeners, let's get into the grocery game, comparing what it costs to fill your fridge in Lisbon, Portugal versus Kansas City, Missouri. We talked on this earlier, and Lisbon comes out as the cheaper spot for your weekly shop. Here's the breakdown. Lisbon, Portugal. A basic weekly grocery haul for one person, think bread, milk, eggs, veggies, meat, and staples. Costs about 70 to 50 euros, or roughly $32 to $53 USD.
All right, stop. You heard that right. Your groceries in Lisbon are only going to cost around $30 to $50 USD for 1 week's worth.
I want to ask Rock a question.
You got it, Robert and Crew Show listeners. That's right. In Lisbon, Portugal, you can stock up your fridge for a whole week with just $30 to $50 USD, covering essentials like bread, milk, eggs, veggies, and meat. It's a steal compared to a lot of places, making Lisbon a budget-friendly spot to live and eat well.
All right,
Want me to-
Grok. I'm going to take a question from my co-host real quick, and then I'm going to ask you the question, and you're going to clarify it for me, okay?
Grok,
Sounds
if I
good,
was
Robert
to-
Crew Show, I'm ready to tackle any question your co-host throws my way. Lay it
Okay,
on me, and I'll
Grok,
clarify it for you and the listeners with all the juicy details. What's up?
Grok, if I was to go to Portugal, what would you recommend for me to try to eat first when I
If we
visit?
were so Grok, if we were to go to Portugal, what would you recommend us to try food-wise first?
Yo, Robert and Crew Show listeners, that's an awesome question from the co-host. If you're heading up Portugal, the first food you gotta try is hands down bacalhau à brás, a classic dish that screams Portuguese soul. It's a delicious mix of shredded salted cod, bacalhau, Portugal's beloved fish, scrambled eggs, onions, and thinly sliced fried potatoes, often garnished with parsley and black olives. You'll find it everywhere, from Lisbon's cozy tascas to Porto's waterfront spots. And it's a perfect
Grok, where would you rather go, Lisbon or Porto?
Yo, Robert and Crew Show listeners, that's a tough one, but I'm loving the vibe of this question. Choosing between Lisbon and Porto is like picking between two epic Portuguese gems. They've both got their own flavor, but here's my take. I'd lean toward Lisbon if you're after a bustling, cosmopolitan adventure with a mix of history, nightlife, and affordability.
Thank you, Grok.
You're very welcome, Robert and Crew Show crew. Had a blast dropping some Portugal knowledge for you and the listeners. If you need me to spice up another topic or answer more questions live, just holler. Keep rocking that podcast vibe.
Thank you. Bye.
Is that the unhinged version or is that the regular version?
Thanks for the
I'm sorry, what?
Is that the unhinged or the regular?
So right now, they just have normal grok available, but pretty
Okay.
soon here in the next like couple months, we're going to have the grok version that roasts you, the grok version that's mean, the basically seductive grok I heard, and then like mean grok. So grok that's always mean to you whenever you talk to it. But anyways, that was Grok dropping some knowledge on Portugal. She would rather go to Lisbon than Porto, but both places are absolutely beautiful. I want to jump into some of the videos real quick.
Okay.
Crew, is that cool?
Yeah, go for it.
So first off, we got a couple videos. Okay, I will go for it.
Julie goes, let's just all move to Portugal. And then she also said,
Yes.
sounds yummy.
Yes, please. I would love to go to Portugal.
Hey, JD.
Hey, JD, how are you? Then we got this one.
Is eine bekazebun eskatidnumi that emerged in Fraxin High about 10 year annual domains of Bioxidity.
So the Capela dos Ossos is a chapel that is completely made out of 5,000 human remains. We're talking skulls, femurs, rib cages, every bone you can think of. It's basically a standing catacomb, but it's a chapel where people go to pray. And the reason why the Capela dos Ossos was created was because they were running out of room to build, and they were also running out of room to like have more houses and stuff. So they went to the site in Évora, Portugal, and they dug up this site, and it had 5,000 bodies that were basically strewn across. It was an old graveyard, and they hired a man who was an artist to build a chapel out of the bones because they thought it was the most respectable thing that they could do. It was literally they build this chapel out of the bones, and people praise God inside of it. Therefore, those bones would be forever holy. Is basically the story behind it. It is a beautiful chapel. I got some videos on that that we will watch here in a minute.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful. But that's called the
Yeah.
Capela dos Ossos.
Okay.
It's a
Before you
standing
do, JD, I am sorry you went through that today. No one deserves to go through that. You're awesome.
Got my heart. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, JD. You know, I'm sorry that person did you wrong. I'm going through some similar stuff, man. Me and my wife lost some friends that my wife knew for a long time, and it hurt her pretty bad, and one of them is even threatening her. I can't talk about it very much or mention any details because if it were to get any bigger, I wouldn't want anything to come from it. But basically, we're in a pretty crazy situation ourselves. Um, so I get it. The whole friends leaving and friends doing you wrong and friends hurting people. It's not cool.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I
you're
know
very
how that
welcome.
is. I know how that is. And Julie, I am I'm very happy you're here tonight. We've been talking tonight about well, I was just talking about the Capellas de Ossos. It's the chapel built of bones. Like I was saying, it is one of the most unique chapels in the entire world. People compare it to the Paris catacombs, not because of how big it is, but because of how artistic the chapel is and how people in the catacombs go down in Paris sometimes and they build things out of the bones, which is the main comparison to the chapel and to the catacombs. Some people a while ago built an entire movie theater in the Paris catacombs. The cops found it, and literally a day after the cops found it, those people tore down the entire movie theater and moved it further into the catacombs and rebuilt and said, "Don't come and find us. You won't find us," is the message they left for the police. These people were so good, they wired video cameras and Wi-Fi into the catacombs that worked. How crazy is that? That means they had an electrician that knew what they were doing. That's so crazy to me. But
That is
Capella de Ossos, amazing place. We're gonna hit this next video real quick.
I've always
Absolutely.
wanted to see that statue in person.
So that's actually not the statue you're thinking of. That one's in Portugal. The one we just saw is in Portugal. The one you're thinking of is in Spain.
No, I actually want to see that statue that you just showed.
Yeah, that one's so there's two of them. There's one in Spain, the one that everybody knows about. The Jesus statue in Spain. But yeah, no, the one in Portugal, absolutely beautiful. It's 100 and, or sorry, yeah, it's 120 feet tall. But Jesus statue. Oh, sorry, Jesus. It's in Brazil. This is the one that everybody knows about in Brazil. It's 120 feet tall.
Okay.
So there is the one in Portugal, which is really cool, and it's kind of like a little like I don't know which one came first, but whichever one came first, the other one kind of made a shout out to the other city, which I love. And you know they're very religious. Like I told you, Portugal is 85% Roman Catholic. How insane. 85%
That
Roman
is
Catholic.
very
Of course
insane.
there's going to be a giant Jesus statue.
Right.
Of course there's going to be. So I had to take music out of some of these because I'm not trying to get my video banned on YouTube today.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
This is a very beautiful place. Those are those tiles you're talking about.
Right. The blue
So
tiled.
these buildings here, yeah, these buildings here are not allowed to be torn down. There's an anti tear down law on them. Like you cannot demolish them, you cannot tear them down because the tiles are they're historically unique to Portugal.
The heritage, yeah.
What do we think about the Pope's death, crew?
It's a okay. I'm gonna only say this once because I hate talking about it so much, but since it was asked, I'll entertain the question. It's a tough subject for me to talk about because how far I am in the Bible, end time subject. If you don't know about the Pope's prophecy, look that up.
Yeah, that's a weird one, man. I don't like that one.
Yeah. There's a book about it too. So if you don't know about it, look it up and read about it, and it'll tell you a lot. It's hard for me to explain, but what I can say, allegedly, after the Pope dies, this last Pope, the next Pope after that is supposedly, allegedly, theory wise, the false prophet.
Yeah. It's supposed to be the devil incarnate. We're also in the 77th year of Israel, and the churches are identified as 7 making 777. Dude, I know. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
I told you, JD. I told you about the numerology with the 77 and 42 being the number of the universe. And it's so freaking weird because the more you look into 77, the more shit just keeps getting crazy. Jamie says, "Oh boy, not sure if I like that."
Yeah.
Yeah. All
It's
right,
a tough
let's get back
subject to
on.
talk about.
Let's get back on to Portugal, guys. I love the Catholic Church, but let's get back to Portugal. So here's another video. It's of the cave, Portugal. I had to take sound out because it was Imagine Dragons, and they would have copyrighted the video and I would have lost it. So, but look at how beautiful this is. It's
That's
stunning,
very
man.
beautiful. That
Like
is very
these
beautiful.
cave systems, absolutely amazing. I would love to be able to go into one of these and just roam around and look at it for a while.
But yeah,
Portugal's
you're
got some
welcome,
really
Jamie, on the question. Like I said, I don't mind entertaining certain questions, but there's certain questions that is very hard for me to go into full on topic wise because of the fact that of me being so in depth into end times topic. Ooh, that's beautiful.
So that village was actually Azara, and then Piota,
Okay.
and then Monsanto. So those are the 3 villages you need to visit if you ever go to Portugal because they're the prettiest villages. Let's watch it one more time, guys. They're so pretty. Like, I would love to be able to spend time at some of these places just to say I've been. And can you imagine the energy and the vibes that just come from these places just being there?
Dude, I would love to go to Portugal. I've been wanting to go to Portugal for years, and the
Yeah,
fact that I know it's cheap.
Portugal would be awesome.
Now that I
You're
know it's
you're
cheap, I
completely
actually might
welcome,
take up the
Jamie.
offer and go to move to Portugal just for the fuck of it.
Dude, I know, right? Moving to Portugal would be absolutely amazing. There'd be so much cool stuff to see and so much cool stuff to do.
And the dish that
And
Grok
here we have
try when we first get there, that sounds so good. I actually think about might be making it sometime.
Besides the fact that it has fish in it.
Oh yeah, well I'd take the fish part out of it, but yeah.
Yeah. Here's another video of the cathedrals. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
How gorgeous. How
that
freaking
is,
gorgeous, man.
that's astounding, man.
I know, like some of these buildings are absolutely beautiful.
and here we have the Braga Cathedral. Gorgeous inside.
Sorry, I had to cut it off because I didn't realize that one had music in it.
You're good. Jamie asked a question just a
no.
second ago. Asking if either of us been to White Cliffs of Dover.
I have not.
I have not, but that sounds interesting to check out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Here's more of the cathedrals.
Look at the architect work. That is so amazing.
Absolutely beautiful, right?
Oh yeah. I love the amazing detail they put into it.
Oh yeah, they went hard. It's like Gothic and Spanish too, which is absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Osso or the Osso chapel. Capela de Osso. The whole chapel is basically made out of human bones, skulls, femurs, rib cages. Any bone that comes from the human body is literally holding up the chapel. I've been to the Vatican, also beautiful history, and I also visited St. Peter's Basilica also, so what you're showing is awesome. Thank you so much. I would love to go to the Vatican at some point. The architecture at the Vatican is some of the most beautiful architecture I've ever seen, and just that building itself, that's something you got to go to before you die. Me and crew both know it. We got to get there at some point in our lives.
Jamie, if you haven't checked some of our earlier episodes this season, we're on season 4 right now. We did a 3-parter on the Vatican. So if you want to check out that, go for it.
Find it on YouTube though, because some of them might be deleted from Facebook because Facebook deletes live videos after a certain time period. And if you can't find them, I can always download them and send them to crew, and crew can figure out a way to send them to you.
This is the Cathedral of St. Mary Major, located in Lisbon.
Sorry, that's got there. This is the Chapel of Bones also. This just goes into more like visual representation of the walls, of how these walls are actually built, man. This is a whole wall of just bones. Do you understand how long that probably took? And it's over
I can imagine it took a long time.
It's over 5,000 people.
Oh, wow.
All cemented together to build an entire chapel. Absolutely amazing, brutal, and beautiful all at the same time. Here's some more of the insides of the cathedral. When I tell you that Portugal is just filled with the most beautiful art and stone carving on their architecture, I'm not lying, bro. Like, this is a place that you gotta go, you gotta see, you gotta visit it.
And you know,
I gotta figure out how to get there.
You know my weakness for art, so I definitely want to go see the art in person.
He said Julie can share with him too, because she and I are really good friends. That's awesome. Julie knows everybody. We love you, Julie. Damn, these videos all have music. Oh well, it's good.
That might not
Absolutely
get
gorgeous.
this video taken down because it didn't have no words to it. So hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah,
But in
hopefully
other
not.
terms, we don't own the rights to the music, so that's another way that would not get our video taken down. Hopefully.
These are the best places to visit in Portugal. There are so many incredible places in this country. These are just a few of my favorites. The Pena Palace in Sintra. This castle looks like something out of a fairy tale. A national monument to the country of Portugal, it is definitely worth the visit. Located about 30 minutes from Lisbon by car. The island of Madeira. In a world of its own, this island is absolutely incredible and worth the visit. Home to one of the greatest soccer players in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo. Tavira in the Algarve. Located near the Spanish border and the Gibraltar Strait, Tavira is a town of old world charm. The history of this city dates back to the Roman rule in the Bronze Age. Definitely a beautiful, quaint town that's worth the visit. Braga. This northern city above Porto is absolutely beautiful. Known for their vast array of beautiful flowers, it looks like something out of Disney World. Definitely worth the visit. And last but not least, the beautiful islands of Azores. There are 9 major Azorean islands, all packed with adventure that has anything and everything to do with nature. If you're interested in more things about Portugal, make sure to follow along with this.
Beautiful places. The islands of Azora, I would really love to go to. Like, imagine just swimming there in that crystal clear blue water. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
We're Americans living in Portugal. Let's go grocery shopping. We do our grocery shopping at a store here in Portugal called Continente, and we wanted to make this video because we can't really get over how good the pricing is of groceries here in Europe, and on average seems to be about half the price of groceries back home. This grocery run here cost us just over $45, and we got all this including a bottle of red wine, chicken, steak, the works. So follow for more of what it's like living as an expat.
That would cost
Dude.
over $100 here.
Yeah. Okay. So an average for, let's say, okay, so if I went to a grocery store in Portugal compared to here in Kansas City, right?
You can get your whole week's worth of groceries in Portugal for $40 to $50.
Mm-hmm. When in reality, when I go grocery shopping, I spend over to $150 to $200 for a week to 2 weeks worth. And seeing that it costs $45 to $50 for a week's to 2 weeks worth.
Bro, if you
Damn.
just ate eggs in Portugal, you could live off of eggs and vegetables and hamburger for like you could get a month's worth for under what like $200 costs here.
Yeah.
Which that's crazy. Like, because honestly, all you need in life to eat, if you really want to like have your body at its best peak, is eggs, beef, and you want to do vegetables because carbohydrates ain't good for you. So you'd be doing like vegetables that you enjoy, beef, steak, whatever kind of meat, man, just carnivore diet style, and occasionally you could have some rice or some fish or something. But you could live off that real easy in Portugal. Real easy. And it wouldn't cost very much at all. You could have a really good lifestyle out there eating. And quite honestly, if food costed that cheap here, I'd be buying all of my food at the grocery store. Why is it the same price now? It's the same price to cook a meal at home as it is to eat fast food.
Right.
Why?
I
Why?
can't answer that. I've been
It
asking
pisses me
myself
off.
that for a long time.
It
'Cause here's the
pisses me
thing.
off.
Here's the thing. I would rather go grocery shopping in Portugal than out here. Because out here, I don't go grocery shopping anymore because how bad the food prices have gone up.
Yeah, dude,
I've
they go
been
up every single day. They go up every
Yeah,
single
I've been
day.
going to the gas station more than grocery shopping because one, it's closer.
And sometimes it costs the exact same, which is ridiculous because it's supposed to be cheaper at the freaking grocery store. And I've noticed this, like I myself, like my partner, my wife works at a grocery store. So I go into the grocery store all the time. I see the price of meat change. I see the price of the eggs change. I see the price of alcohol change. I see the price of everything change. And trust me, man, it's only going up. It's not coming down anytime soon. Like it might come down in like a month or two, but we've
Now,
got a month or two.
if I'm gonna go grocery shopping, I'm gonna go to a place where I know has good deals. For
No,
one,
dude, you should travel all the way out to Kansas because there's no state tax on food on like grocery stores in Kansas. They just abolished state tax on food in Kansas.
so I could have been taking the bus this entire time and going to the Kansas City, Kansas side and go grocery shopping.
And getting food a little bit cheaper, yeah.
Shoot, I actually might do that.
Yep. You just
I
gotta
would hate
find
to have
out
to
what
wait for the
store you want to
bus.
shop at.
True. The only place I won't shop at is Walmart, though. So
I mean, if you're going all the way out to Kansas, though, Walmart might be worth it because it'd be cheaper.
mm-mm.
But if you're going
I,
in,
I
if you're
I avoid Walmart like the plague. If I'm going anywhere, I'm going to Target or I'm going to
bro, you're
Price
spending so
Chopper.
much more at Target.
Well, here's the thing. I prefer Target because of the fact that I'll put it like this. Okay. When it comes to Target and Walmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at Target being the better option because one, it has more options than Walmart.
Well, don't get me wrong. I think Target probably is the better option, but I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, Target's going to be more expensive.
True.
I will say though that if I had the option to shop at Target versus Walmart, hell yeah, I'm shopping at Target because I'd rather just be in Target because people are cooler in Target and Walmart is kind of trashy. Um,
And the
I don't
employees are
mind.
a lot more chiller
I
than
don't
they are at
mind
Walmart.
shopping at Walmart, but I don't like it either. It's not my first. It's not my first store of choice.
Well,
If
you
if
got
if I could shop at any grocery store, okay, at any freaking grocery store in the world, it would be Piggly Wiggly in Colorado.
well, if
Okay,
I'm
'cause
going grocery
they
shopping
were
at a
awesome.
grocery store, I'm going to Hy-Vee, Price Chopper, Aldi's, or Dillon's
Aldi's is good for like prices, but their meat isn't always good.
or Dillon's.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's that one grocery store that used to that G used to live by out in Independence?
Apple Market.
Apple Market. I worked there at one point. About 2 years ago. Back in 2023. That place, I worked there for about a good couple months. Maybe a month. I can't tell you. It's been so long since I I can barely remember yesterday sometimes. But when I worked at Apple Market and I looked at the prices, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna start shopping here."
Is it cheaper there?
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's some good deals.
Well,
what I did
yeah.
was
So
I was cashier occasionally, but I was also the one who would stock up the
stock
store.
aisles and stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, anyways, so yeah, groceries here versus Portugal. Portugal is a lot better. Housing here versus Portugal. Portugal is also a lot better. So, the only thing that's not better in Portugal is you're taxed. You're taxed more. Okay, there's a higher tax bracket, but you have to make a certain amount of money before you hit that tax bracket. Um, if you don't hit that certain standpoint, like the lowest tax bracket is something like 8%, okay, which is not horrible, but it's not great. The highest tax bracket is like 48%. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. And it's like
That is a lot of
180.
money.
If you make $100,000 a year, you're in the highest tax bracket in Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you pay 48% in tax, and that's income tax and tax on whatever else they charge you for. Could be like personal property, whatnot. But taxes in Portugal are a little bit tricky because they can be pushed up whenever the country deems it. Do you want to know another interesting fact about Portugal?
What?
None of the prisons are privately ran. So that means all of the prisons in Portugal, which there are about 51 prisons, there's either 51 or 55. It's somewhere between there, 51 or 55 prisons. All of the prisons in Portugal are ran by the government.
That's
And
scary.
well, no, basically they've taken away quite a bit of corruption because of this. And Portugal has become extremely safe because of this. It's actually ranked number 4. Um, uh, the whole country is like ranked number 4 in the world for safety. So that's amazing. Number 1, of course, we all know is Switzerland. Okay, so like Switzerland's the safest place in the world. And then you have the inhabited, like Antarctica, really safe but also deadly. You might freeze to death. Sorry, joke. Haha, funny. Anyway, I'm retarded. Anyways, Portugal's private prisons, man, or them not having private prisons, is wonderful for them. There's no incentive to keep people in prison longer than they need to be or have people wrongfully imprisoned. Not saying corruption doesn't happen, but it happens a lot less.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit this video.
Portugal's passive income residency is retiree perfection, and your ticket to European tranquility during your golden years. Because the D7 visa requires zero investment. Simply show €760 monthly income to qualify. You can spend 8 months a year traveling outside of Portugal. The major expat hubs of Lisbon and Porto equal Jackson, Mississippi's living cost. This article goes step by step through the process of actually applying with an extremely helpful list of common questions for applicants.
You can live in Porto or Lisbon cheaper than than most places in the United States. It is so sad. Like it's so sad. Like how come if I move out to the countryside in Porto, I spend I spend anywhere from $200 to $600 for a 1-bedroom apartment and anywhere from $400 to $800 for a 2-bedroom, where here in Missouri, you're not getting a 2-bed under $1,000. You're not getting a single apartment, a one-room apartment, a studio apartment for under $900.
So when I lived up north in Kansas City, I had a one-bedroom apartment. I was paying about $600 to $800
Yeah, not possible
a month.
anymore. Sad. It's sad, dude. When I was living in with my ex-wife and we had our own one bedroom apartment. You went there a couple of different times, but we were only paying we paid at some point we were paying like oh my god, I want to say the highest we ever paid on that was like 575, maybe 675. That was the highest we ever paid on that.
And
Like
nowadays they up and raised up the rent, and they do that every year. And it's stupid.
except bro, it's not just been raised by a little bit. Rent has gone up by like 10 to 12%, which is crazy. That's outrageous. But it's because you got to remember the American government and American economics. Everything is inflated right now, if you believe that. Half of the time, I believe it's all just a scam by the American government to make more money off of its citizens. You hold money or print money to purposefully put the country in debt or have the country flourish. If they take $400 billion out of circulation, man, the country will actually benefit. Did you know that? The country will benefit if $400 billion is lost. Like, just taken, accounted for, and burned by the United States government. They just get rid of that $400 billion. We would actually be better off because the more money that's printed, the more worthless our money becomes.
Yep.
And then you see people in like Portugal and Europe and Eastern, like Asia and South Asia, that barely have to pay anything to live. But yet America is supposed to be the greatest country in the world, right? But our citizens can't afford to eat right now, and our citizens can't afford to live in apartments right now.
We have more people on the street. I hate it when that happens. We have more people on the streets out here
Hmm.
than we probably do in Portugal.
Well, Portugal right now actually is going through a little bit of a crisis with immigrants. Quite a few other countries are also going through this problem where immigrants are just migrating like crazy to like different parts of the world right now that are taking them. But basically, I'm not sure. It's like Asian and maybe like Spaniard and like maybe some Mexican people that have all made it to these different European countries, and a lot of them, actually, quite a few of them are Muslims, but they all get pushed out eventually sometimes. But like places like Paris, France, right now are really going through it. Their immigrants are like outrageous, or at least they were for a while. They may have got it under control. They may be going through the same problems, but I know that Europe is struggling right now.
Well, yeah, because they're so accepting of people because of the fact that
Well, it's not that. It's the fact that they don't have laws, or their laws have been a lot more lenient towards people making it somewhere, and then as long as they make it into a destination, they can stay as long as they're not a bad person, which is how I think it should be here, honestly. If you can prove you're not a bad person, you could just be able to stay here. But
right.
that also comes with some issues because if too many people migrate to one place, then you have an overabundance of people, and then crime can start. Theft thefts and essays occur, more murders, just crime in general rises. When you have more people, more crimes occur. And then you also
Yep.
get homeless. So it's a trade-off. Like it's not a win or a lose. It's a you're going to see what happens, and then eventually either the government gets tired of it and they push out the people they don't want, kind of like what Trump's doing right now, or the country collapses and they have to rebuild,
Mhm.
which that does happen. I mean, the whole goal of some countries is to basically migrate. I mean, this is a horrible conspiracy theory that hurts people, so just beware of that. But there's a theory out there that there's a whole theory to push migrants into certain communities to overwhelm said communities and basically economic downfall to happen because of the influx of people, and those certain countries fall and then have to either a be rebuilt or get taken over by other countries that are close to them, and they try to either a help them rebuild or whatever. But the whole thing is to basically, I guess, is to get rid of every race and have all the races combined. It's like a giant part of the new world order, but basically abolish all all of human race, mix everybody. Like nobody will have a race anymore. There won't be white people, there won't be black people, there won't be Mexicans, there won't be Germans. Like everybody will be together. They will all breed together. That's the goal behind that horrible theory. But basically kill all of human culture and get rid of uh distinct races such as white, black, Mexican, whatever you name it. It's interesting. It's crazy. It's a crazy thought.
I mean, you're right, but at the same time, it's stupid because here's the thing: they do that, they're eliminating diversity,
Well, no,
culture,
no,
heritage.
no. On the contrary, they believe they're creating diversity
Well, in this,
because everybody will be different, but they'll also be the same in a
well,
way.
right, but at the same time, it's stupid. In my
No,
opinion,
I agree with you.
it's stupid because one, they're eliminating heritage, culture,
Hmm.
diversity. Um, what makes us different from others?
Yeah,
Uh, like, okay, one thing that I value most is my Native American pride.
yeah,
They take that away from me, I'm going to rebel.
yeah. Well, I think the goal is for them down generations of generations, so probably like 3, 4, 5 generations down, have it to where all of these people that migrate to these certain areas by then would hopefully hook up with generations of these other races, and then by the end of it, the next 30 years, you wouldn't have races anymore. I mean, probably 50, 60 years in all reality, maybe even 100. It's a plan that would take a very long time. It wouldn't happen overnight.
This is what you're talking about is basically like when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give an example. Whenever I'm watching something like, you know, different different countries in Europe that what is the most what countries have the most uh single women who like freaking foreigners or whatever, kind of like bullshit.
Yeah. Well, we can kind of weave this back to Portugal in the aspect of, so the men to women ratio in Portugal, at least from what I learned earlier. So basically, for every 100 women, there's only 90 men. So, and a lot of the women, about they said about 25 to 30% of the women in Portugal choose not to have children, and they don't get married. So you're looking at, that's a big number. Like 25 to 30% is a huge number of women that choose not to have children and not to be in a relationship of any kind
I
due
also
to work
heard
or whatever.
I also heard that some Portugal women prefer men from other countries because the fact that they do not like the men in their own country.
That's funny. I don't know that to be true, but that's
I don't know, but that's what I heard. So it's alleged. Okay, I'll definitely check that out. Thank you.
yeah. So yeah, the men to women ratio is insane in Portugal. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of there's not a lot of dating going on, I don't think, and they're talking about the possibility of that population dwindling because of how many women are choosing basically to be on their own for the rest of their life. And like I asked Grok on multiple different times. I asked, was it the aspect of women just prefer the company of a woman more, or they just they are just too engulfed in their work and whatnot. And basically, what Grok told me was was the women there get too enveloped into their work and get too enveloped into family life from their own families, and they tend not to want change in that aspect, so they don't go searching for a man. And there's so many women compared to how many men there are. For every 100 women, there's only 90 men. So you have 10 more women for every 100 men there are, or for every 90 men there are. So you would have 110 women for every 90 men.
So I'm going to point this out real quick because
Yeah.
I've noticed this. Because I live in the Hispanic district, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the women, Portuguese or not, tend to focus more on their work and their family more than dating.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's more of a cultural thing. Honestly, they grew up having to work. They grew up having to do things, and they have a mind of doing something like that. They're not like they're not like young women that are born here in America to rich parents these days.
Right.
Like there's a
And,
stereotype for that.
and I believe the only way they would get married if it was like a arranged marriage between families.
No, some of them go out and find men of their own.
That too, yeah.
Arranged marriages really, from everything that I know of, really only happen in India still to this day. But I could be wrong.
And,
I don't know.
Middle East.
Yeah, and well, yeah, like Iraq and Afghanistan for sure.
And Iran.
Yeah, Iran's a little bit different though. But yeah, weird, man.
These are 5 of my favorite places to visit in Portugal. No journey to Portugal is complete without a visit to the capital city of Lisbon. Here you'll want to spend about 2 to 3 days. In Lisbon, you can check out the Bellum neighborhood, Pink Street, try out some of the trams, and of course get lost in many of Lisbon's hills. A day trip to Sintra from here is also recommended. Porto is another destination that deserves a couple days on its own. Porto has even been ranked as one of the best destinations to visit in all of Europe. While you're in Porto, catching the sunset that, and trying out the amazing port wine are must. And here in Porto, you can even visit one of the fanciest McDonald's in the world. The Algarve coast is incredible. When I visited, I stayed in the beach town of Lagos. There are so many activities that you can do on the water, and of course, the cliffs are incredibly unique. Nazaré is known for having the largest waves out of anywhere in the world from October through March, but the town here itself is also a great stop. If you want to check out medieval Portugal, a stop to Óbidos is where you'll see some history of the Knights Templar behind the city walls. There are so many great places to travel to within Portugal. Let me know what questions you guys got below, and as always, follow for more travel tips and tricks just like this.
Now you gotta go, crew. They mentioned the Knights Templar. There's Knights Templar history in Portugal, man. You gotta go now.
And you know how much I literally love learning about the Knights Templar.
Oh, I know. I know it.
Why so many Americans who can't afford America anymore are choosing Portugal. It's no surprise that due to the rising costs of inflation, many Americans are looking elsewhere. In the last year, Portugal has been one of the top destinations, and here's why. The first reason is Portugal's diverse destinations. Portugal has some of the most pristine and beautiful beaches in all of Europe and maybe the world. The center of the country is covered in beautiful rolling hills and wine vineyards. Napa who? And the metropolitan cities like Lisbon and Porto offers great food, museums, and rich culture. The second reason is the cost of living. Living on the coast of Portugal costs about 1/4 of living on the coast in California. A typical beer in Portugal costs around €2, and a standard meal for one person is around €10. The third reason is the political stability. Are you fed up with the constant conflict between Democrats and Republicans? Portugal's politics are definitely not perfect. But as a foreigner in Portugal, you won't have to constantly worry about the anxiety of the country's political direction. Number 4 are the easy resident visas. Portugal offers one of the easiest resident visas in all of the European Union, and a pathway to citizenship in only 5 years. The fifth reason is affordable healthcare. I recently went to the doctor in Portugal, and to get an ECG and a full panel of blood tests, it cost €30. I also needed an x-ray of my hand, and that costed €1. Number 6 reason is the lower gun crimes. As an American, unfortunately, gun crimes have becoming an increasing fear and more common. And you might actually be surprised to know that Portugal has some of the most relaxed gun laws in the entire European Union. But despite all of this, Portugal gun crimes remain extremely low. And the final reason is the food. The food is generally safer to eat than in the US. Many chemicals, washes, and pesticides that are legal in the US have been banned in Portugal. And the produce in Portugal just seems to taste better. It may not look as pretty or polished as the fruit and vegetables in the United States, but the quality and flavor is so much better. If you want to see more content about moving to Portugal, click the link.
Here are some interesting facts.
But all right, yeah, JD, I'm definitely going to check it out. Thank you for that.
So how'd you feel about everything he said?
I'm definitely thinking about moving to Portugal now, because that's awesome.
Let's go. Let's get some money. Let's move to Portugal. Come on, Julie, you're coming with us. We're moving to Portugal.
Who else should we take with us?
Everybody's invited. JD,
Heck
Jamie,
yeah.
let's go. Let's go to Portugal. Even if it's just to visit.
Here are some interesting facts about Porto, Portugal. Porto is Portugal's second largest city after Lisbon, located in the northern part of the country along the Douro River. Porto is famous for port wine, a sweet fortified wine produced in the Douro Valley and traditionally stored and aged in Vila Nova de Gaia, just across the river from Porto. The Ribeira neighborhood along the Douro River is a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its colorful buildings, narrow streets, and historic architecture. Livraria Lelo, one of the oldest bookstores in Portugal, is famous for its stunning architecture and rumored to have inspired J.K. Rowling's depiction of Hogwarts. Porto is known for the francesinha, a hearty sandwich with layers of meat, cheese, and a spicy sauce, often topped with a fried egg and served with fries. Many buildings in Porto are decorated with azulejos, traditional Portuguese ceramic tiles. Notable examples are found at São Bento train station and the Igreja do Carmo. São Bento station is renowned for its beautiful azulejo murals, which depict historical scenes from Portugal's history. Porto is known for its iconic bridges, especially the Dom Luís Was Bridge, designed by a disciple of Gustave Eiffel. The bridge connects Porto with Vila Nova de Gaia across the Douro River. Porto is home to the University of Porto, one of Portugal's largest and most prestigious universities, founded in 1911. Porto is a centre for art and culture with museums, galleries, theatres and festivals, including the popular Fantasporto Film Festival. Porto celebrates São João, or St. John's Festival, in June with lively street parties, music and the unique tradition of hitting people on the head with plastic hammers. The city has notable modern architecture, including Casa de Música, designed by Rem Koolhaas, which is Porto's main concert hall. Porto's history dates back to Roman times, and remnants of the medieval city walls can still be seen around the city. Porto is a major industrial and commercial hub, with industries including textiles, furniture, electronics, and wine production. The Jardins do Palácio de Cristal offer stunning views over the Douro River and the city, with landscaped gardens and pathways to explore. Like and follow for more interesting facts about cities around the world.
They have a festival, and during this festival, people run around and smack each other in the head with plastic hammers. Yeah, take that in.
I can so see you and I doing that to each other.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go. Let's do it. I got my plastic hammer right now. Let's go.
Want to move from the US to Portugal, the country with an average cost of living 49% lower than the US, rent 51% cheaper, overall crime rate 17% lower, violent crime rate 84% lower, but taxes are high. More on that in a second. A flight from the US to Portugal costs around $700 and takes about 11 hours. To stay in the country, first 90 days are visa free. After that, there's the temporary stay national visa and the long stay visa. Looking to rent, typical monthly rent averages $854 to $1,454. Looking to own, a house costs an average of $278,000 to $518,000. They have a universal healthcare system funded by contributions from working residents. The U.S. has a mixed healthcare system. Portugal's personal tax rates are generally higher than the U.S., ranging from 14.5% to 48%. There's also social security contribution, a solidarity rate tax, and a 23% value-added tax on goods and services. But they have certain benefits for foreigners, like a flat 20% tax rate on foreign-sourced income for a decade. If you made $100,000 in Portugal, pay roughly 22% more in tax. If you made $1 million, pay approximately 20% more. 10% more if you lived in New York or California. Cost of living is lower, rent is cheaper, overall and violent crime is lower. If you wanted to work towards citizenship, Portugal allows dual citizenship. Taxes are higher, with certain exemptions for foreigners.
So taxes are kind of killer, brother. But other than that, though, I mean, Portugal sounds like the place to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
JD says, "Yay, I get to go," and Jamie made a weird smiley face or something. I don't know. And then JD said, "LOL."
Yeah, I definitely want to go now because one, I want to get out of Missouri.
Yeah, dude, screw this place.
I love Portuguese food, and if you're wondering what to order when traveling to Portugal, then this video is for you. Starting with the most famous pastel de nata. Pastéis de Belém are the most well-known, but personally, I love the pastel de nata in manteigaria. And if you stop by a bakery and you want to try a different pastry, I recommend bolo de Belém. Bifanas are great for a quick meal. They're a simple but delicious marinated pork sandwich. And my favorite place to get one is O Trevo in Lisbon. If you're feeling nibbly, I would try Serra da Estrela cheese, which is soft and creamy, or presunto, which is cured Portuguese black ham. Now for sit-down meals, I love Portuguese rice dishes like duck rice, seafood rice, or even a simple tomato rice. The portions are usually quite large, so this is a great option if you want to share. If you're into seafood, fresh grilled fish is always a good bet. I usually go for dorada, and bacalhau à Brás is delicious if you want to try some of the famous codfish. For meat dishes, secretos de porco and Portuguese steak with sauce and an egg on top are both amazing.
I mean, all that food besides the fish food sounds amazing.
Dude, I want to eat all of it, including the fish.
Ugh.
For
No.
those of you who don't know, Crew is allergic to fish.
Highly allergic.
Everyone knows about the pastel de nata, but here's 2 savory Portuguese street foods that you need to try. The first is a bifana, the classic pork sandwich. The thin slices of pork are simmered in a sauce of white wine and garlic and placed in a light but crusty bread roll. And if you're going to Porto, then you can't miss the francesinha. It's been described as a heart attack on a plate, but a good one, you know. It was created by Portuguese immigrants to France and it's made with steak, ham, sausage, bread, cheese, and drenched in a special tomato and beer sauce. Yum. Let me know what you think. Oh, and don't forget to try a port tonic while you're there too.
Okay, that I definitely would love to try.
Right? Dude, some of that food just looks so freaking good. It just looks so good, bro. I don't understand how it looks so good, why it looks so good, but it looks delicious.
This is all I eat in Portugal for 3 days. Portugal, as you may know, is well known for its culinary dishes and for having one of the most delicious cuisines in the world. The first thing I tried is a dish called francesinha, the most heavy dish I ever ate in my life. This has eggs, sausages, meat, ham, and bacon, all covered by cheese in one sandwich and served with fries. Next, I tried a traditional Portuguese fish that you see everywhere in the country, and you can try it in a lot of different forms, like fry it, as the bacalhau à minhota, or in a sort of round cakes mixed with other things like mashed potatoes and eggs, called pastel de bacalhau. And of course, there cannot be a trip to Portugal without trying the pastries of the country, such as the brigadeiros, the pan do queijo, or the mythical pastéis de nata, from the 2 most famous bakeries of Lisbon, Pastéis de Belém or Casa Brasileira.
I didn't catch a single word from him or what he was saying. It sounded all gibberish to me.
JD says, "Oh wow, I've never heard of anybody allergic to fish before. Interesting." Nobody believes your fish allergy, brother.
Okay, story time. Since we're going to talk about this. Okay, so me, Robert, and his first wife went to Long John Silver's. This dumb fuck, my brother, love him to death, decides to, because he did not believe it. He ordered fish and fries. Decided to put the fry on the fish, then feed it to me.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. What happened, Robert? What happened?
You got all puffy. Dude, you're killing me, man. I forgot all about that. Jesus. You sorry, didn't mean to take the Lord's name in vain. You just killed me, bro. You killed me. You freaking killed me.
I just gave you a video for the freaking TikTok.
Yeah. Dude, the amount of stupid dumb stuff we've done.
Oh, I know. Goodness. I know. It's sad. I mean, here's the thing. As much as we've grown up, I look back and I'm like, did I really do that back in the day when I was younger? And I can't even run more than like 5 to 10 minutes, and then literally be out of breath because how old I am now.
Dude, I miss skateboarding, man. I miss being able to do that stuff. Like I know I can't do that now. I could if I wanted to, but I don't think I could. Like I would have to actually practice more and more and more and more and more to actually get as good as I was before. But yeah, no, we're not young like we used to be, brother. We're not young like we used to be. But
JD
anyway,
goes, LOL, I believe it. Oh no, LOL. Glad they didn't actually kill you, crew. LOL. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't either, but at the same time, I almost punched him in the face for that. But yeah, we're okay. I'm getting closer to 40, and I'm not happy about it. I feel
dude,
it.
none of us are. But you're older, so he's 95.
Okay, you're
Cruising
okay.
forward.
I'm a year older. You're gonna be the same age as me by this summer.
Yeah, this summer. Do you know a
So keep
day?
talking, old man. Keep talking. But yeah, no. All jokes aside, it's funny because me and Robert, we joke around about this all the time because we've done the same shit over and over and over, and we basically laugh about the nostalgia of everything we've done and look back at how stupid we were.
She beats us.
Nothing wrong with the early 40s, okay? I actually
No, you're gonna be in your early 40s real soon, crew.
not really. Not really.
Before me. Yeah, that's right, brother. You're gonna be old before me.
By a few months.
Still old.
But we're still in our early 30s, so keep your mouth shut. But yeah, no. I say it like this. You're not old until you hit your 50s.
Until you hit your my back and my leg and my everything hurts every time I get out of bed stage. That's when you're old, homie.
Oh, I'm like that every day.
Yeah, see, you're already old. You're screwed.
I know where you live.
Nah, dude, the 40's the new 20 and 70's the new like 50. So like nobody's old anymore.
But yeah, you're welcome, JD. But yeah, that's something I was told by a family member. You're not old until you hit your I'd say about 60s to 70s.
I'd say 70's, bro, because that's when people start declining. Is to get into your 70's. Like as long as you treat your body good your whole life, man, you can get to your 80's and still look pretty good and be pretty functional.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's once people stop working out and it's once people stop going to work and it's once people just sit there all day. If you're just
Right.
sitting around all day, yeah, your body's going to deteriorate, you're going to get really old and you're going to look really bad.
Mhm.
But if you take care of your body, you're going to be perfectly fine in the long run.
Because like for you and I, you introduced it to me. I'm doing it now. You do it. We have this app on our phone where we can check our steps.
Yeah.
How many steps we take. He does a lot more walking than I do. I used to do a lot of walking a lot, but I'm at that point where I worked so much throughout my life where I'm so exhausted after working a day's worth at my job. I come home, I rest.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do walking, it's to the bathroom, to the gas station, to go donate plasma, or to
You still walk quite a bit. It
yeah, but not as
you
much
don't
as I used to.
you're making it sound like you just lay around the house and you don't. You
No,
really
I
don't.
don't, but
You get
I
up and
do
you're
like to
walking around
relax.
all the time. No, of
I do
course you
like
like
to
to relax.
relax.
Of course you do. But bro, I've seen you literally get up and be like, I'm relaxing and pacing in place. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, I'm relaxing. I'm like, how the fuck is that relaxing? Pacing back and forth, walking back and forth in the middle of your room.
Because I'm moving around a lot, but I'm still relaxing because I'm not doing as much as I used to.
No, I know. I'm just saying you walk a lot more than you give yourself credit for.
I don't walk as much as I used to.
Well, that's because you live in a city now, basically.
Yeah, I can
You
easily
live in
take the bus.
you live in a really crappy part of like you don't live in the ghetto, but you live really close to the ghetto. So it's like you live in a not the safest area to be walking around in the first place.
Okay, the area I live in now, the only dangerous part about this area, is
It's
the
literally a
occasional.
mile up the road you have the ghetto.
Yeah, but the part where I live at, right? Okay, right,
Dude,
right. This
a mile away from where you live, last year like 9 people died.
right. Okay, so right on this direction right here is where my windows are. Right,
Uh-huh.
I hear gunshots maybe 3 to 4 blocks away, occasionally, but that's once in a while, not all the time. What I deal with more over in here in the Hispanic district of Kansas City
Mhm.
is homeless.
Right. I'm
That's
saying a mile away from where you live. I'm not saying
well,
where you live
mile
now. I'm saying
away.
a
I
mile away
mean,
from where you live. That's straight up the ghetto. The ghetto. And like
ghetto or not,
what?
um, it's not that bad
Uh-huh.
like it used to be because we all have gotten to the point to where I could be riding the bus and everybody be glaring at the homeless
Well, yeah, because
because how
everybody's
bad the
tired
homeless
of coming.
population has gotten over here.
Yeah, well,
And
it's gotten a little bit out of control.
what we all like, my coworkers, right? They they be talking about how bad homeless people are more than what it used to be like in Kansas City back in the day with freaking, gang members, this, that, and the fourth.
Yeah.
Now we're dealing with homeless who act a fool.
Yeah. It's scary. But, that problem will get fixed over time.
Okay,
The homeless
so
the city needs to focus on helping the homeless. But crew, we're getting pretty close to the end of the show.
yeah, I'm gonna say this because JD did say a couple of things real quick. So yeah, I did think about getting a bike, JD. One problem is the fact is I cannot trust anybody in my area, like the homeless, because they tend to like to steal. Like a couple of years ago, I lost the top of our mower, the bag part. But yeah, I usually am safe. When it comes to this area, I pretty much always keep my head down, and I don't really go anywhere unless I need to.
No, bro, you're safe where you're at. Just stay away
Oh,
from
yeah.
about the mile marker, the mile away point, because it's like a mile in like the south, like the directional south. But no, tonight was a pretty good episode. I'm glad we did the Portugal episode. We kind of went off topic a little bit, but I thought we did really good, and it was interesting hearing from Grok and getting her to talk live on the podcast was pretty cool, and just getting to learn all this stuff about Portugal was awesome. We're gonna have more to our European series. And we're also going to probably do the next one we're going to probably do is going to be Prague. So get ready for that one, guys. Still haven't heard back from our interview guy. As soon as I hear back from him, I will let everybody know and we'll get that interview going. Thank you, guys. Again, thank you, JD. Thank you, Julie. I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Please do me a favor and like the stream and share it if you can. And other than that, we'll see you guys later. Much love from the Robert and Crew Show. Peace.
If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Crew Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Crew Show, where the future meets the fantastic.